My dad always read the paper when he came home, and he's reading the paper and he goes, "What is this? Is that you?"
Roger is one of the greatest riders in my era of all time.
He would just pick people off one at a time and win by 30 seconds.
I don't think a lot of these guys even can appreciate what he's done.
I mean, he was the man. I mean, there was nobody better than Roger.
Roger de Coster was born in Oakland, Belgium on August 28, 1944. From a humble childhood in post-war Europe, he became the international face of motocross and the most significant figure in the sport, with 5 world championships and numerous other accomplishments to his credit. This is Roger de Coster's motocross file.
My first race, that would sound pretty crazy for the American fans, I think. To my first race, I rode my race bike to the first race. My parents were not supposed to know that I raced. I raced 3 races that they did not know. And I raced the first time, DNF'd, raced the second time, DNF'd, and the third race I won. So he would always read his paper by the stove, and there was a little strip in the paper, like, you know, like about this big. And so he looked up to me and he goes, "What is this? Is that you?" You know, yeah. And, "Well, how come you did not tell me?" You know, and, well, you did not want me to race. 2 weeks later, there was another race, and he was with all his friends coming and watch, and you know, he won 2 weeks ago, you know. And
with racing being the only thing on Roger's mind, the Belgian army had other needs from young de Coster.
Commanders there, he always wanted me to, he started asking me to drop off some fuel in his personal car, you know. And so I was told to do it, so I did it. And then I needed fuel for my race bike, for practice bikes and all that also. So I asked him, "Hey, is it okay if I can take some of this fuel also for my bikes?" And so I guess as long as I covered for him, I was okay to take some for myself. So that was my state sponsorship.
1969 would see de Coster's dream come true as he won the Belgian GP at the world-famous Namur circuit.
I had been there as a spectator when I was 14 years old and see René Batten from Belgium win the race and the World Championship that year. And I think I was the first Belgian rider to win after him, and he had died in a race accident. And so it was a very special feeling to win there.
1972 saw Roger feeling invincible as he added a second world championship to his belt.
72 was probably my best year. The bike was awesome. I felt that I could let the other guys start after them and still win the race. In the US, my best battles were with Bob Hanna.
On a given day, I hated him and wanted to break his leg.
Bob raced all year round in the US, and I did the GPs, and then at the end of GP season, I would come for the fall series in the US. And Bob was ready, you know, to kick my butt.
The 77 and 78 GP seasons for de Coster would find him fatigued, injured, and his Suzuki falling behind in development.
Like I said, our bike at the time, from the mid-70s, everybody started going to longer travel suspension, and we definitely went overboard. You know, they went too much travel, and the bike did not handle properly. It's just one of those things, you know, in a rough section. There was a sand track in between trees, and I did start swapping, and I ended up hitting a tree. Those things don't move out of the way. The most difficult thing to get used to it for me was the change of color. You know, I was so used to that, to race with a yellow jersey on that. It was difficult in the beginning. I still was in shock after winning 5 world championships for Suzuki and all that they did not, you know, they did not show more interest in working something out with me. I'm lucky to do a job that is basically a hobby, you know, and anytime you can do that, I think it's great.